This is going to be my second video comparing the Saddleback Leather Classic Briefcase in dark coffee brown, the large size, against the Texbo Real Thick Cowhide Leather Men's Shoulder Briefcase Fit 17-inch laptop bag and tote. This is my second review. If you haven't had a chance to watch the first review, please go back and watch that video first. I go into details onto the accessories and belts and other parts of the bag. This video is going to dive into the pockets, the interior of the bag, and usefulness of each individual piece of that. So, starting really quickly with the back pocket here. Here's the back pocket to the Texbo. We'll start with that first. This pocket, I got a little measuring thing here, is about 8 inches tall and is lined on the inside with a nylon material. This pocket does extremely well holding pieces of paper, notebooks, whatever needs to be held. This pocket is probably my most used pocket in terms of pulling objects in and out. Now, I do want to show you one thing about this pocket. This is just a regular size folder that you would use to kind of take the place of a full sheet of paper. If you look, if I push it down as far as it goes, the top kind of sticks out. This has always been my biggest criticism of this pocket. It fits about 80% of a sheet of paper, but not the top part, which means that when you pull this paper out, it's never crisp. It's always bent at the top. And that is a little bit frustrating when you want to throw papers in here that you need to use for a presentation later on. Now, if we move over to the saddleback, saddleback back is almost the exact same design. In terms of length, it is 9 inches in length as opposed to the 8 inches, so about an inch taller, an inch more material. However, if I were to do the exact same thing with the folder test on the saddleback, if we were to slide this in here, it still sticks out. So that extra inch protects an extra 10% of that sheet of paper. However, the top is still sticking out. So kind of frustrating. I really wish Saddleback had extended this top piece much higher. I suspect part of the reason they didn't do so is it gets in the way of these rivets that hold this D-ring in place, gets in the way of this strap that holds the leather belt in place, and also gets you into trouble in terms of being too high that when this bag starts to collapse down, this is left unsupported without a piece behind it. The second thing I want to show you is the interior pocket here is not lined with nylon, and things do not slide in as smoothly as they would in the Texbo bag. So if we take a sheet of paper here and try to do the same thing, what you'll notice is it doesn't always go down all the way. It was probably hard to tell, but the first time I put it down here, if you just kind of drop it, it doesn't go down all the way. You kind of have to tamp it down here, and these bottom edges sometimes get creased and folded. While with the Texbo bag, now granted this is older, so it's already kind of stretched out, it slides down and out much easier. That is really very much personal preference in terms of what you're looking for in a bag. Now, Texbo lines the inside of this bag, which means that there's more parts, more areas of potential failure, more areas of potential tears, while Saddleback does not, and it gives you that very satisfying feeling of raw leather when you touch the inside. So it is two different takes on the design. One's not necessarily better than the other, but these do exist. Now, let's go on to the inside of the top of the bag here. Texbo has chosen to use this felt-like material here. That's very soft touch, very comfortable. None of the rivets that are done at the front go through to the back. However, if you can feel where those rivets are in place. If you see, it's a little impression here of that rivet on the other side of here. It's very comfortable. It feels really nice. It's one of those nice things because you're usually looking at the inside of your bag more than you're at the outside. Have kind of a satisfying little soft touch material. Now, the areas where you actually use the bag, however, are lined with nylon. Now, if we move over to the saddleback here, you will see, like in many of the other bags, this is lined with the pigskin. Now, there have been many iterations of this. The current iteration that exists is actually a pigskin suede, which is not what this is. This is kind of that raw, a little bit more softer pigskin. There's also a version of this which is the black pigskin. They have their rivets going all the way through, which I really enjoy. I think it looks really nice. It gives that kind of tough, rugged look to the bag. There is this metal bar across the top that does not exist on the Texbo, which results in the Texbo creasing right here in the middle because you load and hold the bags on the opposite ends. It gives away and folds right in the middle, which can be a little bit frustrating. Otherwise, this exterior, also very pleasant to look at, also very soft. It's a lighter material, which they say also helps you look and find things inside your bag a little bit better. I get what they're saying. I don't necessarily think that that was ever a huge issue with the bag, but, you know, looks nice. I like it. Now, moving on to the interior dimensions of the bag. So, if we take the Saddleback bag, there are multiple pockets here on the inside and also 2 side pockets here. So if you look here, there's one side pocket there. There's another kind of tiny side pocket there. Great for my pens. I love sliding my pens and kind of small knickknacks in there. And then there's the 2 bigger pockets where you could fit chargers, you could fit extra batteries, you could fit mouse or mice in here. And then there's also this extra piece of keychain, which I usually just use to hold a little pocket Leatherman multi-tool type of thing. So, one of my big criticisms of this bag in the Saddleback is that the 2 side pockets, very helpful. I really like it. I wish Texbo did it. However, the depth of the larger pockets is not as great. So if we were to just drop this all the way down until it touched the bottom and measure, it's about 4 inches. If we were to do that to the Texbo, I think it's probably going to be around 25 to 30% deeper than that, which means that you cannot hold as deep of things in here. The other thing is it's lined with this raw leather on the back rather than being made out of the nylon material that Texbo is, which means that little things get caught. Sometimes it's hard pushing things down. It also means that you can't just like kind of push this back. It kind of pops right back into place. And if you want to put other things in your front pocket, these occupy space that kind of takes away the negative potential space in this front pocket. If we look at the Texbo bag over here, you will see that its interior design, very similar. Same 2-pocket concept, same 2 big pocket concept, however, no tiny little pockets on the side. The depth of these pockets, if I drop my measuring tool all the way down to the bottom here and measure it, it is 7.5 inches. So it's almost 50% deeper, which is way more helpful. You can fit way more things in here. You can actually do different layers of things. I could throw things I never use on the very bottom and then put bigger things on top that stick out. I also use these edges here for pens, and you'll find that with this nylon material, if I want to use this negative potential space, it collapses right down really, really naturally, which means that this space can be used really nicely. Now, the Texbo itself also came with a keychain. Unfortunately, I also cut off that piece of leather and repurposed it for something else. So I actually used it to make my own keychain to hold my USB drive with a little clip so I can clip it onto things. Unfortunately, that means you don't get to see this keychain in action on the Texbo. Granted to say it is made of thinner material, though still does the same job, just not as tough. You can tell this piece here, not made of the same metal pieces that the other pieces of the Texbo are. This is clearly plastic, though this is something that I've used on a very regular basis for 2 years and haven't run into any issues. However, I can see this potentially becoming a problem point, and I just cut the leather, folded it back over, and put my own rivet in, and then kind of trimmed it to fit so it would look nice. Overall, I think in terms of interior space, utilization of interior space, the Texbo as well as the Saddleback are very similar. Saddleback definitely wins in the department in terms of extra pockets and the number of pockets. It also wins in terms of the quality of the materials on the inside of the bag. That soft material, the soft touch pigskin, is just amazing. It's really nice, it's really smooth, it's easy to use. The Texbo, on the other hand, wins in terms of depth of the pocket and usability of the pockets, and the very large front pocket is far more usable in the Texbo than it is the Saddleback. So I would say it definitely wins in that department. I like the nylon covering much better because I spill things in my bag, and it's only a matter of time before this interior gets any more stained than it already is. So it looks beautiful. I'm really afraid I'm gonna spill, like, you know, salad dressing or something on the inside, and it's just gonna be permanently stained. And every time you look inside, it'll just be a reminder of that time I wasn't smart and didn't secure the lid of the dressing well enough. So different people may interpret that differently, and different people may have different needs. So I'm not gonna, have a huge opinion between the two, but that definitely does exist.